Heat is out in the store right now. But first, I figured since it's just us hanging out tonight, we could do a little tier maker. I think this is the last official kind of CWC episode before we get into the WrestleMania heavy content. So I figured it might be fun to do a tier maker of the matches that I'm most excited for heading into WrestleMania. And then you guys can do the same thing and either post them in the comments of this video or post them in the Discord so we can kind of compare notes and see who's excited for what match. So I have a tier maker pulled up here on my second screen, and we can kind of talk ourselves through this thing. Let's start with the categories that we will be ranking it, and it is goated matches. Those are the matches that, like, there's zero chance I could miss. There's matches that I'm excited for. I have a level of excitement, but I'm not, it's not the end of the world. There's meh, and meh just means it's on the card. I'm here for it, but I could live without it. There's who cares, and there's bathroom break. Now, I will tell you, just coming into this situation, my excitement level for WrestleMania is at about a 9.9. I don't know what it is because I don't necessarily think the build is as good as previous years, but there's just something about, the kind of the feelings have started to hit. There are a lot of matches that are very notorious D kind of, bangers. So I think I'm coming into this very positive minded. So I don't know if we see anything hit that yellow or that green bathroom break. I think we're probably going to stay above the meh, but we'll see. Let's roll it out here. Starting with the War Raiders. The War Raiders and the New Day. I said we're not going to go below meh. I think we're going to start with meh. And this one is just because it feels like this was forced onto the card when there's other matches that may have been more representative of tag team wrestling in WWE. More importantly, the Street Profits, who we'll talk about a little later in the show. I don't know that this was my first choice for who I would want in a tag team match at WrestleMania. No disrespect to the War Raiders, but I haven't connected with them in a way that makes me go WrestleMania for those guys. So to me, this is maybe one of the two matches that I'm least excited about heading into WrestleMania. So the next one we have here is going to be Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. And I'm going to drop this one in. I'm excited. I may be one of the few people who are excited for Logan Paul on a week-to-week basis. I think a lot of casual fans are. I know the IWC loves to hate Logan Paul. I do wish he would commit just a little bit more. I wish he would commit and give us maybe 3-month runs. He kind of shows up and disappears as he likes. I understand he's got other things going on, but if he really committed, I do believe that there is, it's an overused phrase, but I think he has world champion potential. I was one of the first people who called Logan Paul being the United States champion before he won that. There was a lot of people who thought that was a crazy prediction. I am one of the people who still believe at some point in time, if he commits to this, he will be holding the WWE championship. AJ Styles, he doesn't give bad matches. Logan Paul is going to do something insane. I believe this match, after seeing the stage, just the preliminary kind of design and setup, that second story, I get the feeling someone's going to do something off the top of that. Logan seems like that guy. I don't know if he's jumping off of it. I don't know if he's entering through the top. It just feels like to me Logan Paul's that guy. It's going to be a spectacle. Logan's going to put on a show. So I'm definitely excited for this matchup. We have Jade Cargill versus Naomi. To me, this one goes into the excited pile. And I've seen a lot of people try to hate on this match, but I have absolutely loved the resurgence of Naomi. I think the back and forth, if you follow the social media, the back and forth has been the best part of this match. Unfortunately, I don't know how WWE, they need to do a better job of highlighting that on the weekly television show. Some of it has gotten a little maybe above PG, but it has built to these are two wrestlers. I've liked Jade Cargill. I've always liked Naomi, but I've always felt like there was something missing. I feel like with this new heel run and Naomi, she has stepped it up to another level. I actually want Naomi to win this match, which I don't think is even possible, but I am one of the people who is genuinely excited for this match. So next we have the fatal four-way with Finn Balor, Braun Breaker, Penta El Zero, and who did I leave out? Dominic Mysterio, maybe. That's a meh for me. That's one I thought I was going to be way more excited about. I just don't think they've sold me. This feels thrown together. I know what the intentions are. I think I got a pretty good thumb on the pulse of this being the Judgment Day breakup match, even though I feel like I say that every premium live event. I feel like every premium live event I go, this is the match that's going to set up the Judgment Day breakup. I really do feel like, my prediction was Dominic Mysterio. I do feel like Dominic Mysterio is going to win the title. I think that Braun Breaker is graduating to bigger things. I think this will be a fun match. Don't get me wrong, but it's not one. It never. Early on, I thought this could have been an exciting match, but it never really peaked for me as far as the build went. So this is a meh for me, which is average, right? It's an average excitement about this match. Next up, we have Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. This is another meh. I think it's going to be a great match. Don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be another great match, but I just, once again, this feels like the castaways. Drew McIntyre deserves better than this match. Drew McIntyre basically carried us through the summer with CM Punk, and to get to WrestleMania, and this is what it is. There's no real stakes on the line. I get that it got a stipulation, a street fight, which to me devalues what this match could be with two guys like Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Sure, they're going to beat the hell out of each other. They're going to beat the life out of each other with every weapon they can find. But to me, this just doesn't pique my interest enough for me to really scream I'm excited about it, if that makes sense. The next match we have here is El Grande Americana versus Rey Mysterio. Throw that into the goated category. It was a little swerve there. I think I swerved myself. This was goated for me. The El Grande Americano character has been absolutely fantastic. And for me to put a Rey Mysterio match, I've never had anything against Rey Mysterio. I've just never found him particularly that exciting to watch. But this, they have figured out a way to make me excited about a match. I've seen every speculation from the fact that it didn't have to be mask versus mask, that El Grande is getting his mask ripped off. I am still of the belief that because this isn't mask versus mask, that El Grande is winning this match. And this will lead to something further down the road where he gets demasked. But at this point, I don't know that I ripped this gimmick off of, if we don't even know if it's Chad Gable, but let's assume it's Chad Gable. I don't think I rip this gimmick off of Chad Gable, because I think it grew legs where they didn't know it was going to grow legs. I think the character has become so dislikable but likable that it's one of those things that you might go, let's stick with this a little bit. The fact that they're selling an El Grande Americano mask in the WWE shop tends to lead me to believe we're not done with this character. Now, also, I threw out the idea the other day in the Discord, what if we get towards the end of this match, El Grande rolls out of the ring, rolls under the ring, out rolls El Grande from maybe the other side or back out, and it's clearly someone different, and that's the mask that gets pulled off, and we see kind of a confusion from Rey Mysterio. I'm not completely outside of the idea of Kurt Angle being demasked in this match. I don't think demasked is a word. Unmasked is the word I'm looking for. I think that it would be fun if Kurt Angle rolled out from the bottom of that ring and got the mask pulled off of him, and we found out that Kurt Angle was El Grande Americano and that Chad Gable was telling the truth the whole time. I think that could be funny. So this is goated for me. This is top level excitement for Notorious D. The next one we have here, I got to look a little closer. I can't tell what this is. This is the tag team match. This is the Liv. This is meh. This is meh only. I like Liv Morgan. I like Raquel Rodriguez. I pick on Lyra Valkyria all the time, but I think she's a serviceable wrestler. I think she actually just has to kind of find her way a little bit. And Bayley is Bayley. Bayley's always going to give you a good match. Everything about this is good except for the fact that it was thrown together, doesn't make a lot of sense, and we can be pretty assured who's winning this match, right? They're not going to take the tag team titles off of Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania. So to me, this is the one that had the potential. I don't want to do it because of how excited I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Who cares? Who cares about this match? Honestly, who cares? Because I know the winner. I ultimately, it's all thrown together. It feels like another match that was kind of shoved into the card. I'm going to go who cares. I didn't want to drop below a meh, but I think this is who cares for me. Next up, we have Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky. I don't care what anybody says. This could piss off the entire world. This match is goated to me. I love everything about this match. I have enjoyed the build to this match. I was one of the early adopters who were screaming this should have just been Rhea versus Bianca, but I think the addition of Io has been fun. It has been entertaining. She has been kind of bullied throughout the build-up to this match. And I think it adds certain dynamics that are going to be interesting moving forward. It adds the dynamic that Bianca could pin Io, which kind of saves the Bianca and Rhea feud for later down the road. It does add the intriguing story element of if Io pins Rhea, does that mean Bianca Belair lost at WrestleMania? Or do they start telling the story that Bianca's never been pinned at WrestleMania? I think there's so many interesting kind of angles they could take. And while I get this isn't everybody's cup of tea, for me, this is one that is actually goated. Next up, we have Randy Orton's surprise match. I'm excited. I think this probably would have been meh, to be honest, because I was so excited. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton would have been goated because KO's my guy. I was so excited for that. It sucks that KO's not at WrestleMania. I probably would have moved this to meh because really whoever Randy Orton wrestles, they're going to take the L, even if it was Nick Aldis, even if it was Solo Sikoa. But now with the reports, the reports floating around that the mystery opponent, that this is going to be a last-minute thing, looks like it could be Rusev, only for the simple fact that I pulled that prediction straight out of my ass. The other day when I made my WrestleMania predictions, I said Rusev would be Randy Orton's opponent. Only because I pulled that out of my ass. I am now excited for this match for the simple fact that I could gloat about that if that's correct. Next up, we have LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. This is a meh. And I hate it because I love both of these guys. But this is another one of the matches where it feels to me, there's a part of me that believes Triple H had all of these plans 6 months ago. And he had WrestleMania laid out on a table, and he loved the way it looked. And as we got closer to WrestleMania, and he started going, we're going to have 16 matches, or we're going to have 17 matches. No, I'm going to trim this thing down to 14 matches. This feels like there were casualties, and I think Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu was one of those casualties that I actually would have been excited for that match. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu kind of feels like a been there, done that situation. LA Knight seems to keep getting involved with different versions of the bloodline. The way this came to be more of a story about Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman, which ultimately is probably going to lead to Solo getting involved in this match. Braun Strowman helping out LA Knight. They've kind of shown them buddy. I I don't think I'm excited for this. Like, if this all plays out the way I have it played out, kind of on the script I've written, I'm not excited for kind of the genericness of this match. There could have been so much more for LA Knight. There could have been so much more at WrestleMania for Jacob Fatu. I feel like placing them together was kind of a last minute. We got to get both these guys on the card, and that feels like what they did. We got Jey Uso versus Gunther. I'm excited. No matter what, I'm excited. I think Gunther has stepped it up the last couple of weeks. He has raised what we've graduated from the snooze general to the swag general. I'm actually now pulling for Gunther to win this match. Jey Uso still leaves a little bit to be desired, but there's no denying that he has some kind of spell on the WWE universe, on casual fans, on IWC. I know there's a subsection that's bitching about his wrestling talent, but I don't listen to them. If you go to a WWE event and you use your eyes and your fucking ears, you can see how over Jey Uso is with the crowd. So this is one of those matches where the outcome is intriguing either way to me. If Jey Uso wins, cool. We start the Jey Uso experiment as a world champion, something that I don't know we thought we'd be talking about 6 months ago, a year ago. Jey Uso is world champion. I mean, I've taken a lot of shit from Milwaukee Mike. You have a video out there that lives on the casual wrestling TikTok where you said that Jey Uso will never hold singles gold. I've taken so much shit for that video because I agreed with you, but I did agree at the time. So I think it'll be interesting to see what that means going forward, how that experiment plays out. But there's also the flip side of this, that if Triple H wanted to hit that nuclear red button and have Jey Uso lose the match, Gunther could be the biggest heel in all of wrestling. Gunther could be the most hated man in the United States. It could be a catastrophe as far as like the celebration that happens in that building, but the ramifications moving forward would be absolutely insane. That's got me excited. I'm excited for that match. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. It's goated for me, guys. I know, once again, a lot of people are down on this match. I never got down on this. I enjoyed this from the very beginning. I didn't care. I kind of always assumed this was going to be a story about Charlotte Flair constantly being in control and Tiffany Stratton having to overcome every impossible odd. Then it got a little bit chippy, got a little bit personal, which got fun. I'm not going to lie. It's a shit show. It was unprofessional, but as a wrestling fan, taking off any kind of like professional hat, that's fun. That's entertainment. That's reality TV. So I've enjoyed this build-up. I still think Charlotte wins. Even after all the bullshit, I think Triple H sticks to the plan. I think this is a little bit of what Triple H has talked about when he talks about we're not going to listen to the IWC anymore. I think that there is this tendency to overreact because Charlotte fucked up. Charlotte stepped out of her lane, but I don't think you change the overall goal here. And the overall goal is, let's get Charlotte the title. Let's make her just a absolutely despised heel. Let's keep building Tiffany Stratton as a babyface, and then let's have them meet up down the road, be it SummerSlam, be it WrestleMania next year. But let's do the Cody Rhodes formula works, right? Taking a year to build somebody up to finish a story. We've seen it now with Jey Uso. We've seen it with Cody Rhodes. I think Tiffany Stratton is the next person who's being inserted into that formula. And so I'm excited. I'm goated for this because if this goes the way I think it does, I think we'll all be happy after WrestleMania with the outcome that we get from this. I could eat those words easily. Then we've got the triple threat. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. I was never in the camp of these are just three names thrown together. I've seen people complain over and over and over again saying there's no history, there's no story here. And you're not paying attention if you haven't seen this story. There has been a story that I don't even think WWE planned for. If you go back to the AEW days with CM Punk, where him and Roman Reigns jabbed at each other with the needle mover comments and things like that. We know there's been history between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. These dudes don't like each other. And we know that history exists between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. So I'm not sure where this conversation that these are just three guys thrown into a match together has come from. I think the addition of Paul Heyman being the wild card in this match has absolutely elevated it to another level. You have all of these theories running around. You have theories now that have jumped out. I'm coined it the Wavy D theory, which is they slipped up and said Roman's in his 11th main event, which means he would have to be in 2 main events this year. I tend to think that was a slip up, but a lot of things aren't ever subliminal. You have people like me who believe somehow Seth Rollins will have involvement in the Cena and Cody Rhodes match. So there's so many little implications that could happen from this match. I also think it's incredibly insane that in the year 2025, there is a high chance that CM Punk wins this match, which is literally when Seth Rollins said for the soul of the company, these are the three guys. These are the three faces of the company. And so for CM Punk to ultimately be the guy who comes out on top, is what a lot of people are predicting. I think that would be insane. So last here, I have Cody Rhodes and John Cena. There is a part of me that wants to put this in goated because of what it could be, right? If the stars all align and Travis Scott shows up and The Rock shows up and Stone Cold shows up, like everybody's reporting, right? Everybody's reporting all of this stuff happening and stuff, then great. It's a goated match. I think ultimately, I just don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to get burned. I want to set my expectations accordingly, and that is I want to be excited for this match, and I want to be blown away and surprised. If I set it at goated, and it fails to meet that expectation, that's on me. If I just tell you guys I'm excited and then it blows the roof off, then that's like a bonus treat for me at the end of WrestleMania. So right now, here's the problem. If it just ends up being straight up Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, it's going to be a great match, but it's already one of those things I've built too much story inside my head with The Rock, with Travis Scott, with Cody Rhodes, with John Cena. I've got Seth Rollins getting involved. It's my fault. This is of my own doing that this match can't be goated, but I've set the expectations too high that I have to temper myself to put it at excited. So that is my list. You guys, I will drop the link for this tier maker in the description of this video and the breakout for this tier maker. I want to compare notes. I want you guys fill this out, drop it in the Discord, send me a link in the comment section of this video, and let's go over notes and see where you think I'm right and where you think I'm wrong.